So this is my seventh or eighth take on this video. I tried to film it, not live this time. I was waiting for somebody, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna film a uh, uh, not a pre-live, I'm gonna film a pre-recorded video on private security guards LARPing, and I just kept forgetting what I was gonna say. I lost my flow of my objectives, and it was just all a mess. I don't know why, but it's like I can only do live now. So I apologize for those of you who don't like to watch the longer videos. Unfortunately, or sometimes fortunately for you guys, the live is longer than usual. I think the live videos are probably better suited for those of you who are driving from point A to point B that have a longer trip. Hey, what's up, Mike from the Professional Security Journal? What's up, Doug? And what's up, Russian American Patriot? It's like you guys never get sleep. You guys are always awake. Hey, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about LARPing, private security guards, just the LARPing concept, LARPing. So maybe a couple of years ago, I heard the term LARPing, and I can admit that I'm pretty much outdating myself with not keeping current on some of the language. Yes, Doug, you are first. Working good. Somebody mentioned LARPing. I think Mike Alvarez. I haven't heard of him for a while. He's one of my favorite YouTube content creators. I don't know where he's been on YouTube, but he's my go-to guy to watch. I love watching his videos. But anyhow, he mentioned the word LARPing, right? LARP, and I had to Google that word because I didn't even know what it meant. It stands for live action reality play. Live action reality play. And basically what you're doing is you're kind of role playing a fantasy, something that's like imaginary. And over the years, talking to you guys, talking to other content creators, talking to other people in the space, my perspective on LARPing security guards has actually changed a lot. So let's go back to LARPing as a security guard. If you are a security guard LARPing, well, what are you doing? According to the critics, what you're doing is you're going out there, you're going to legitimate training, or maybe not legitimate training, and you're taking like a CQB, a close quarter battle class, close quarter combat class. You're learning how to, and the critics say that you are LARPing, right? And they say that in a derogatory term. So I guess the question is it really LARPing, or are you preparing yourself? Because I'll tell you this, when I started armed security, I would LARP all the time. I worked at a warehouse that was completely empty at night. There's valuables inside, and I would practice pieing the corner, with my gun out, right? Loaded, ready to go. Obviously, fast forwarding this 20 plus years, it's probably something you shouldn't be doing. Maybe try an airsoft pistol, but I would practice every time. And then I would imagine a bunch of gangsters rolling through the gates, with long rifles shooting at me, and then I take different positions, and I would role play these scenarios in my head every week. I don't think I'm the only one that would role play in my own head or in my own mind, and I would argue that this is not nothing that's. I don't think it's nothing bad. I just think it's human nature that when you have a gun, you're armed security, you have body armor, you have all your equipment. I think it's just human nature to want to practice, and I don't think just because you're practicing that's LARPing, right? And again, once we hear the word LARPing, it's pretty much placed in derogatory terms. But again, I don't think that you are, right? I'll tell you this, and this is a full confession on police officers, not me, but I'm just telling you that people in general, police officers in general, they LARP all the time. Look at all their patches, guys. There'll be some patches with the skull, the Punisher logo, all, I guess, badass patches that they have all over their bag. When you go to the range with some of these people and they can't even hit their target, that is LARPing. that is like the equivalent of a security guard, security officer, LARPing, pretending they're clearing a building. It's like the same thing. You have police officers that probably LARP more. And again, what's the reality of these situations becoming real? I would say the reality is very minimal, but police officers do it all the time. Just look at their plate carriers and what they have on it. Look at their war bag, like that they have in their patrol car. There's all kinds of stuff on there that they're probably not even going to need, and they have all this equipment on them that they probably don't even know how to use. Telltale sign, like for example, tourniquet, right? That's tourniquet. The way that you know that somebody knows how to stage a tourniquet on their belt is you have this strap here that's in this position, right? If it's in this position, you have somebody who's probably LARPing, right? Doesn't even know what they're doing. And I know some of you are like, wait a minute, let me change mine so it looks like I know what I'm doing. Just take a class, right? So if I have it like this, if I get in some type of arterial bleed, I have to do something else. Like I have to do this and then get to the windlass, right? Eventually. So instead we stage our tourniquets and we keep them just like this. All you got to do is look on most belts, duty belts, duty rigs that police officers carry. They don't even have their tourniquets staged. There's all these police officers. They wear all this like tactical looking gear. But when it comes down to tactical things, like even trying out for a SWAT team or passing the physical agility requirements, which in many places isn't even much, or shooting requirements, they fall short. I see them all the time. All the time. When it's hot. Oh, it's too hot outside. Yeah, I don't want to practice. I don't want to do my SWAT tryouts because it's too hot. It's like 100 degrees, and I don't want to get all sweaty and hot. So I'll just pick a time when I can do my, I can do the PT test, which is maybe you guys will do it in the winter time. Okay. All right. Now going back to private security. You got to remember that a lot of the equipment that private security has, police has. Depending on the state, almost the same weapons, right? Or very similar weapons that they have. In California, I think the only difference is probably long gun chambered in traditional rifle calibers. That's probably it, and maybe ballistic shields. That's kind of like the only difference. Guys, I train a lot with private security. I get a lot of negative comments. I've uploaded a couple of YouTube short videos, and then somebody mentioned like, oh, look at all those wannabe cops that are LARPing. Something to that effect. I just uploaded a 29-second video, and nobody knows the students that were out on the range at 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock at night in low light. Like nobody knows their credential. Nobody even knows whether they're law enforcement or not. But I guess they assume, because this is a private security and investigation channel, they assume that everybody on my channel is private security. And they also assume that every video I show entails a private security guard LARPing. It doesn't make any sense. I think in the private security sector, LARPing is you're preparing. Those of you that are just chiming in, I think it's perfectly normal that if you're in armed security, private security, that you LARP around your house. You practice clearing the corners. You practice at work. Now, obviously, you got to be careful at work, presenting a loaded firearm and clearing the building. That's something that my dumbass would do 20 plus years ago. Fast forwarding, yeah, it's probably nothing that you want to try out right now, but it doesn't matter what I say. Some of you guys are probably practicing right now, right? So what do you do? Okay, if all these people are making fun of you and saying, oh, you're LARPing, that's only for cops. I already discussed this. The majority of cops LARP themselves. I would even go so far as SWAT team members probably LARP themselves. So for example, those of you who are subscribed to my channel, you guys know that I graduated from a SWAT school maybe a year and a half ago. and we had to rappel from, I think, a 4-story building, which is the most scariest time in my life. But anyhow, that is LARPing itself. Like, where the hell am I gonna rappel, like, from a 4-story building with all this, like, with the harness and everything else? Like, first off, where am I gonna get the harness? And second, why am I rappelling when the tallest building in my town is probably 3 stories tall? Like, I could probably go from the hotel. We have hotels where I live. That's probably the tallest building. I could go from the 3rd-story building or floor and just hang, and then just somehow slide my way into the 2nd story. Like, I don't need. Yeah, I'll be safer with a harness, but I don't need all these tactics and equipment to learn how to rappel when I need that. Those of you, I know for sure the Marine Corps, you guys practice rappelling. Have you ever had to rappel in real life? My Army guys, right? Coast Guard, Air Force. I'm pretty sure that you guys practice Navy. Gotta miss. I can't miss all the branches. I'm pretty sure that you guys did rappelling or some version of rappelling. Well, when in real life did you have to do all that? So isn't that LARPing in itself? I just think that instead of LARPing, I think you guys are really preparing for what's needed. And be quite honest with you, I give a lot of respect to private security officers who advance their level of training, and they go to some of these, I guess, LARPing schools, right? And I guess the argument is, when are you going to need to have all that training? And my question back to you is, when does police need all that training? Okay. Now, some of you watching this you might be owning a private security company, and you might be saying, there's no way in hell my guards are ever going to do this and that and this. Yeah, that might be true, but when you're not on post, when you're sleeping, they might be doing some interesting things, right? That's what, like, guys, I'm the worst employee. When my supervisors, my managers are all asleep, I'm out doing all kinds of risky stuff. And that's just me, okay? But when it comes down to it, when your supervisor, your boss, when they're sleeping, when you got those 2 guys or a gang of 5 or 6 that want to take over that warehouse that you're protecting, I think that LARPing training that you're doing, or whatever you want to call it, I think it's beneficial to you. All right, let me go through the comments, and there is kind of a lot. Dilly says live action role playing. Yep. Mike from the Professional Security Journal says, I need to come back to my channel to put something up. Yeah, you definitely need to put something up. CT Bad Cop 15 says he couldn't pass the police test. Chris, I don't know what he's referring to. I guess if you're referring to me, I guess I can't pass the police test. Doug says, I'm LARPing. I'm a soldier in Call of Duty, right? Let's see. Oh, man, thank you, Mike, for helping me moderate this channel. Dax Spade says, unless you're in full camo and carry an M16 and look like you're about to storm Normandy or Vietnam, are you really trying? Right? Says they don't have the same training. And Jack Spade says, carry a tactical water pellet and snack pack. Most important thing, I also practice tactical reloads with the coffee maker. Right? Professional Security Journal says, yep, my dump pouch ain't for ammo. That's my snack pouch. Jack Spade says, I've used my radio pouch on way to work to hold protein bars many times. So my dump pouch, again, you can say it's for LARPing, I guess, right? But I normally use the dump pouch for when I work the range. I stick in my course of fire. It's usually on an 8x10 piece of paper. I just roll it up and I just stick it right in the dump pouch. I think I was training with Randy Nunez from Global Veterans and from Citywide Protection Services one day, and he said basically I can use it if I do some type of operation where I have sensitive data. I could put it in there, but that's LARPing in itself, because I don't even do that kind of stuff. Mario Castillo says, I use LARPing for someone that makes up a training background of military or LEO, but don't really have any background in those fields. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like somebody who's trying to like embellish their resume, would be engaged in LARPing. Yeah, definitely. Man, there's like so many fireman instructors I'm following right now. They have all these like cool pictures, but they've accomplished like nothing. Like nothing. And I'd say this, like if you don't have a security background, you don't have a law enforcement background, and you don't have a military background, probably you want to take more classes before you start offering training. Like I know somebody in Los Angeles area who offers NRA instructor level certifications, but that instructor himself, he should be going to some like continuing education, because it looks like he doesn't even know what he's doing. Yet he's giving instructor level certification. So he should be the master instructor. And honestly, his skills are like beginner. I'm just saying. Mike says, so stolen valor, and then Mario says, not really. It's basically being tactical. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's being stolen valor. Like these guards that are making up their background. It depends. I mean, if they're saying like, hey, I'm former military, okay. And then if you're military, then I would say it's stolen valor. Or, you know, you say that you're law enforcement when you're not. I would say maybe that's stolen valor, but that is a good example of LARPing, right? You have no good solid background to back you up. And even, man, I've been watching X-Ray Alpha LLC, Mike Pranka, and there's some trainers I thought, hey, you know what, they have some good information to share with everybody, and it looks like they have a pretty good background. Mike Pranka just tears them up on his live videos, and it makes you wonder, like, who's really qualified out there to be teaching the things that they teach. Mike identifies as Chris Kyle. Jack Spade says, rather work with tacticals than people who just sit and sleep, to be honest. I don't know which one's better. The person that just sleeps or just sits there and lazy, or the tacticals. The tacticals, you got to be careful, because they are going to, you pull them like this tech that you're working is going to get you killed and everybody else killed, everybody else sued. Here's a better technique. Oh, really? Can you show me? And then the next day, hey, can you show me another technique? Those are the tacticals that I don't mind working with those guys. But the other ones, I don't know, what do you call them? Tactitards, tactifools. The other guys are the ones I wouldn't want to work with, like the know-it-alls. Mario Castillo says, like for them, it's not so much about their service, but just having people believe that they know what they are doing. Exactly. And then, because I know Mario is former Marine. You get a lot of guys out of the military coming out with, they're basically presenting themselves like they have some crazy background, like top secret, like battle hard background, when they were like a cook or a mechanic. Now, I have no problem at all if you have that military background, and then you're presenting some classes that you have, you know, maybe you took a class, like an instructor development class. You know, you teach these courses and you're proficient at teaching them, and you had other people critiquing you. You get some positive feedback. I have no problem with that, but it's the ones that, like, they're living this fantasy, right? So they're like maybe Navy or something like that, or even Marines, Army, and once again, they're a cook, right, or a mechanic. And all of a sudden, They're teaching all these crazy like combat style courses, and it's like, dude, where did you even get that training? Oh, I was former military. Okay, well, what'd you do? I was the cook. You need to do a lot more explaining than that. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. Again, it's quite all right if you had a non-law enforcement, non-combat MOS in the military. Just don't present yourself that way, like having extensive knowledge about something when you haven't even, like, when you don't even have the certifications. And that is like, you see that happen quite often. And same thing with cops, right? The cop that has 30 years on, right? I'm a cop for 30 years. Go to my training because I've been a cop for 30 years. Like, okay, what did you do for 30 years? Were you very proactive, like your first 5 years or 6 years, 7 years? And then like year number 6 or 7, you were stuck in an office, or you promoted to lieutenant or commander or something like that, and you never left the office. Or maybe you present yourself as like teaching a lot of officers how to shoot when really you're in charge of the firearms training unit, where you didn't teach anybody to shoot, you just supervised those that shot. So I ran into this captain, Army captain. He took my BSIS firearms permit course. Awesome guy. He crossed his hands when he went to go shoot. Basically, you can get slide bite that way. And I'm like, hey, dude, like you might want to change around your grip. You're gonna hurt yourself. What happens? Like the third time around, he don't listen to me. He ended up getting slide bite. And then later on, he's like, hey, you know what, sir? Be honest with you, like I was the captain in the Army. I was in charge of the unit, but like I didn't really shoot, and I wasn't really the instructor. I just overseen everybody, and we mostly concentrated on a rifle. Yeah, I see that. I see that. Mario says, right, but I mean like people giving security advice to clients with no actual knowledge what they're talking about. Yep, we see that often. The security guard channel says, I'm late to the conversation. However, I will say that I don't condone the negative talk about security from security. We have enough negativity around our industry. We should be cautious of it. So I think you're a little bit late to our conversation. I don't know if you're saying that we shouldn't be having these conversations, or you're going off the title. I don't know, but yes, you are kind of late. I do agree that we shouldn't put ourselves in a negative light all the time, and that's not what this video actually is about. JP says, who cares? If you want to get training, good for them. Get training, as long as they don't claim something they're not. Yes, and guys, if you want to buy NVGs, night vision goggles, if you want to get a plate carrier, if you want to get certain boots, if you want to get like certain tactical pouches, certain slings from GVRS, right? If you want to get a certain hat, right? A shirt, who cares? Who really cares? You're an individual. You're responsible for making your own decisions, hopefully. Buy anything that you want, even if it looks LARPish, right? Red dots. Some people might say they're too tactical looking. Who cares? You want to put a laser on your pistol? Go ahead. It's your money. It's your body, your choice, right? Who cares? You do whatever you want. The security guard channel says gear, equipment, clothing, so long as it's within the law, you're certified, cleared through your company. It's on you. What you need, I'm also all for training. Just be honest. Exactly, right? Yep. I agree. Mohammed says, hello, sir. Where are you from? I'm from America. Yes, thank you for your salute. Liam's here. Welcome. Robert says, I have seen a lot of LARPing wannabe BS on Reddit as well. I don't get it. Like anything other than a bright yellow shirt and a flashlight is LARPing. Yeah, don't get me started on Reddit, please. Professor Secure Joe says, that sub is nothing but allied guards who seem to realize there's so much more than their little mall post. I should stop. This is me getting me started up. I need to stop. Rod says, hey, from Arizona. So the security guard channel says, I was going off the title. I saw someone had responded to your previous video negatively, not speaking about you. Yeah, no, somebody mentioned, no, thank you for mentioning that, Damien. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I uploaded a video where I was engaged in, I was doing some training, and then somebody commented something to the effect of like, why are you training wannabe cops? Like, you don't even know who I was training that day, right? And if it was private security, like, who's to say that they want to be cops? We're in 2024, people. Not everybody wants to be a cop. All right, guys, so I'm out of here. I'm looking forward to your comments. Take care. Let me know what you guys think about LARPing, what it is, and what are, like, where do we stop if we even have to stop? I'm all for it.